Welcome to today's presentation, Foundations number 2, Foundations. I was hoping that today we will take a look into the foundations of the Bible and that you will see the difference between the Bible and any other so-called religion, even science. That you will see that the Bible has strong foundations, that it is built on the rock and not on sand or in clouds. But we are not ready yet for that, for the proof that the Bible is the Word of God. Therefore, today, we will go only a little bit deeper into its foundations, and the next time again a little bit more. And if God willing, in the presentation after the following one, I will show you the proof. So, are you ready? The Bible is an extraordinary book. It is more than a book, it is a map, an information, a message. It contains self-preserving mechanisms, which are even described in it. How to understand the Bible, how not to understand the Bible, for example. Today I will show you only one of them. It's brilliant. It is like an encoded message which doesn't make sense to anyone without the code. If you try to explain the encoded message by yourself, the message will never make sense. But when you receive the code, the key, the message starts to decode itself step by step, and you know that the key was the right one. Why? Because the message makes sense. And even more, in the message it was encrypted even description of the coding mechanism and the code itself. It's amazing. You may have a credit card, but if you have forgotten its code, its key, the credit card is pretty much useless, and so it is with the Bible. So who has the key? I just love word games. Monkey and monk do not have the key. Believer in evolution or in science and person who has appearance to be holy, who thinks he is something more than others are, do not understand it. Puffed up persons don't have a clue, and we know that. Try to get from them such an explanation of the Bible which will make sense. It is a mission impossible. That is what we observe, but it is written also in the Bible. God resisted the proud. What kind of idea is behind that? Who is proud? There are many descriptions of such a person. We will take a look at some of them. The proud person disrespects others and ridicules them. We find that in Proverbs 3:34. Surely he, God, scorneth the scorners. And we are scorners. We don't know anything about the Bible, but we claim we know that it is corrupted. What else does a proud person do? Proud person values his life because of one or another thing. Beauty, knowledge, physical strength, power, riches, so-called holiness, which is not. His or her gender, nationality. Because of that, he values his life more than life of others. Proud person doesn't accept God's valuation of life. In God's eyes, namely, we are equal and worth more than the whole world. And because of that, he has to compete with others, to defeat them, to be better than others are. That sounds like a battle, a war, survival of the fittest, and it doesn't sound like peace. He, in his own eyes, is great if others are small. His worth of his life, in his eyes, is because of that more than the worth of others. Without God, such life is a need. You cannot live otherwise. You have to mock, scorn others. Just listen to your jokes. If you are blonde, you have one type of jokes. If you are a policeman, you have another type. Everyone is scorning others, more or less. We have to do that. We have to defeat others. We do that in sports, science, religions, family, everywhere. I did that also, but when I have accepted God's valuation of human life, I don't need to do that anymore. I know my worth, and I know your worth. I don't have idea anymore that I'm something more than anyone else. It is great. If you are proud, you have to receive worship of men and women. That's your value of your life. But since all worship and all glory should go to God, who is the only to be worshipped, you take something which belongs to God. You yourself want to be in God's place. If God would come and you would see how He is worshipped, you would be jealous. Your heart would be full of pain. You would like to take His seat place. You would like that He would be dead. You hate God. And you would say, "This is not true. This is not happening. God doesn't exist." God has given humanity a free will, and because of that, we can and we go to some extent against His will and against Him. And that is called sin. If you have difficulties with that word, let me explain it to you in another way. God is love and the truth, the way, the life, and anything which goes against that is a sin. So ask yourself, if you were and are against love, truth, life, the honest answer should be yes. So you are a sinner and in rebellion against God. And proud person also goes against love. He esteems himself the most and not others. Love values others, but proudness not. A proud person goes because of that also against others' life. Others' life doesn't have much value in his eyes. He doesn't care much for others, and above that he has to lie even to himself. He goes against the truth. Let's say that such a person is rich, but he is not the richest. But still he has to lie to himself that he is self-deluded. What I have said, it is said also in the Bible, in Isaiah. Behold, the Lord's hand is not shortened, that it cannot save, neither his ear heavy, that it cannot hear. People use this argument that the Lord's hand is shortened, that it cannot save, that he cannot hear, to prove that the God doesn't exist, that he is dead. But here we read about the real reason why is it so. Let's read. But your iniquities have separated between you and your God, and your sins have hid his face from you, that he will not hear. For your hands are defiled with blood, and your fingers with iniquity. Your lips have spoken lies. Your tongue hath muttered perverseness. The way of peace they know not. And now we understand why we don't know the way of peace. When we are without God, we don't accept His value system, and because of that, we have to hurt others, defeat them in one or another way, be it physically, mentally, with words. And that's not the way to peace and of peace. Let me give you two examples. Let me continue with the rich person. Let's say you're a rich person and you are proud of that. Is it in your interest to help others to become richer than you are? I guess not. If you can influence them, you will maybe help someone, but that's not a real help. In your mind will be the following logic. Whatever is his, it is mine. He is under my influence. If I help him, he will become actually my servant. He will help me in that way to become even richer. You just want to be on the top, and you are not prepared to share that with anybody, even if it seems that you are helping someone. It is not like that. You are helping yourself. And another example would be passing riches of knowledge, information. So let me return to monkey and evolution. Idea behind the evolution, blind faith of today, is supporting proudness and scornfulness. You know more than your ancestor did. You are the smartest generation because we are evolving. Those are pleasant words, but are they true? We always receive knowledge from the previous generations. If such a transfer would fail in one generation, people of that generation would not know how to communicate between themselves. They would not know how to do farming, how to hunt, what to eat. Apostle Peter is saying that in his letter in connection with young people and older ones. Nor one nor another shouldn't be proud. Proudness is an obstacle for the transfer of knowledge. Let's say you are a teacher professor, and you are proud of your knowledge and intelligence. Will it be in your interest to make a real effort to pass down your knowledge to students you despise? To students you find stupid? No, you won't make a real effort. And if they have an average intelligence? Also not. And if they are smarter than you are, well again. If you can connect yourself with them, you might teach them something. If they will excel, you could say, "It was me who taught them. I'm so great. Their greatness is my greatness. They are me. I am so great." But on the other hand, they are basically your competitors and you don't like that. So it's very likely that you will not be willing to teach them everything you could teach them. And what if your student is proud? If you want to learn anything, you have to admit to yourself that you don't know everything. And then you start to search for a professor who could teach you whatever you want to know. And if you find him or her and you are not willing to listen to him because you know better, he will not be able to give you anything because you don't accept anything from him. Now, is that smart? If you would be really smart, you should know that you don't need a teacher. How do we learn? By observation, listening, receiving information, asking questions, but not by mocking and by disrespect. You might ask in humbleness, "Why do you recommend me to do this exercise at home? What is this good for?" And the teacher, if he is a genuine one, will explain to you what is the purpose of the exercise. But if you won't ask him and just say to him, "This is stupid, I won't do it." Of course it is stupid for you because you don't understand, but you should ask and be willing to examine, evaluate the answer. If the teacher is not able to explain it to you in such a way that you could understand, maybe that could be a reason to find yourself another teacher. And if you are a person with an average intelligence, you won't distinguish a fool from a genius. If you are not prepared to listen and to ask questions, and consequently, if you will not do that, you will never learn anything and you will be cheated. And the same is true with the Bible and the knowledge of God. It is the same learning process. And let's dig into another meaning of the word proud. Proud people want to be independent. That's fine, but is that even possible? We are always dependent from our parents, from state, from our teacher, employer, customers, weather. Again, God is independent, but we are dependent, and if we are proud, we want to be God. We want to be controller of our life. My will be done. Even majority of people who call themselves Christians are thinking that. Even when they recite, they don't pray the Lord's Prayer, they recite it. Thine will be done. They hear that as mine will be done. Why? Because they think that they know the best what is good for them. God is stupid, He doesn't know what is the best for them, they think. I was the same. And because of their proudness, they look at God as their slave, a servant. They didn't get the message of the Bible. I know that God exists and that He is far more intelligent and powerful than I am, and that He knows the best what is good for me. Maybe a disease would be good for me. Well, I wouldn't be super enthusiastic about it, but if I will get some painful disease, I will be able to accept it because I trust in Him. Well, God is the supreme controller and He had left us some free will, that's true. But if you think that you are in total control of your life, you live in a delusion, in a lie. In a dream world, imagination, under drugs, or in altered state of mind, you might think you are the supreme God, but not here in reality. We are dependent from others, always. And then such a proud person takes the Bible in his hands and he thinks he will be able to understand it on its own. He is not willing to listen to others. Will he understand anything? No, nothing. Why so? The Bible is a book of life, and it is also alive in a way. It protects itself. If such a person could understand the Bible, he would be even more proud. He would say, Look, I did it, by myself. I, and not you. You are nothing. Look at my greatness. He would think that he is the supreme controller and he would give glory to himself and not to the real supreme controller, God. So Bible protects itself. And such people, when they don't find anything in the Bible, they go to and fro explaining to everyone that Bible doesn't make sense. And people believe them also because they don't know that the God resists the proud. What idea do we get from the Bible? Let's read. Go to now, ye that say, today or tomorrow we will go into such a city and continue there a year and buy and sell and get gain. Whereas you know not what shall be on the morrow. For what is your life? It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time and then vanisheth away. For that ye ought to say, if the Lord will, we shall live and do this or that. But now ye rejoice in your boastings. All such rejoicing is evil. And what does Jesus say? I am the vine, ye are the branches. He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me ye can do nothing. Then answered Jesus and said unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, the Son can do nothing of himself, but what he seeth the Father do. For what things soever he doeth, this also doeth the Son likewise. And again, I can of mine own self do nothing. As I hear, I judge, and my judgment is just, because I seek not mine own will, but the will of the Father which hath sent me. Think about so-called Christians who pray in their minds, my will be done. They seek their own will. And think about their judgment, when they say, we cannot know if God exists. We have just faith. No one can know if God exists. There is no proof. Think about that. Is their judgment just? Then said Jesus unto them, When ye have lifted up the Son of Man, then shall ye know that I am He, and that I do nothing of myself, but as my Father hath taught me, I speak these things. And a blind person who couldn't see and was then healed by Jesus said about him, If this man were not of God, he could do nothing. What about Moses? At first he tried to liberate his people on his own, but he was not successful. And because of that, he had to run out of Egypt to save his own life. And after 40 years, God spoke to him and told him, Go and set my people free. What was Moses' answer? Did he say, Well, where were you all this time, God? You have to have a cruel heart. I was trying that already 40 years ago, and where were you then? I was trying to liberate your people at that time, and where were you? Why, you slave, my servant, you didn't help my lordship? He didn't say that, no? Did he say, Well, God, I'm the right man. I'm adopted son of Pharaoh. His daughters, actually. I'm smart, I have education, I have knowledge, everything. I'm self-confident that I will do it. I'm the best man for that job. I'm so glad that you have also noticed that, oh God. You are smart after all. No, he didn't say that either. He said to God that he is not the right man, that God should find someone else. Can you imagine? That's a person with a low self-esteem, with a low self-confidence. But such people are God's people. They trust in the Lord and not in themselves. Whatever it is wrong in your life, religion of today will tell you, build up your self-esteem. You have to esteem yourself, be confident in yourself, you have to trust in yourself. In Slovenian language we have the same word for the self and for being alone. If everything in your life is self, me, I, you are selfish, and such people are alone. And even if they are in a company of people, they are lonely. God esteems us more than anyone else esteems us. We are worth more than the whole world to Him. That is something. So why would I have to esteem myself? That is proudness, and it goes against God. And also Moses didn't trust in himself. He trusted in the Lord. He was not self-confident, but God-confident. He had faith in God and not in himself. Many people who call themselves Christians are not like that. They are selfish. They have great self-esteem and self-confidence and faith in themselves, but very low opinion about God. And God resists such kind of people. As Peter writes, "For God resisted the proud and giveth grace to the humble." Now, I don't artificially humiliate myself. I'm just honest about myself, and that is enough to be and to stay humble. I know who and what I was and I am without God, and I know who and what I am with God. Why God also resists the proud? He cannot give the proud grace, mercy, because they don't want to admit that they need it. They just need a quick fix, that's all. They don't realize that without God they are... I don't have even words to describe what we are without God. And today, as it is written in the Bible, and if God willing I will show you one day, people had fallen away from the faith. They don't want grace anymore. We are just fine, we say. When I heard the song Amazing Grace for the first time a couple of years ago, maybe a year after I came to Christ, I have cried. Well, I guess I have listened to it even before that, I don't know, could be, but I didn't hear its lyrics. I didn't hear the words. This song perfectly describes a way how to come to Christ, as it is written in the Bible, and that is also my experience. But proud people who don't like to receive God's grace, they can do it by themselves, at least that is what they think, and they have changed the lyrics. And don't forget, I was also proud. Today it is very difficult, at least for me, to find Amazing Grace sung without changed verses, and that all verses are sung. What did the proud ones do? They have left the word grace in the song, but took out everything what is actually grace. It seems that the song is about grace, but there is no grace therein. And so it is with their life. Their life has appearance to someone who is not Christian. Their life has appearance to be Christian life, but there is no Christ in it. Proud people who would like to be Christians without accepting God's grace have changed, for example, second beautiful line, which says, "that saved a wretch like me," into "that saved and strengthened me. Haha, now I'm great. Look at my greatness. Yes, God obeys me. I'm His master, don't you know?" They think like that in their imagination. Or another version is, "save a soul like me," or even "that saved and set me free." In that way, people may remain proud and lie to themselves that they are free, but they are not. They continue to despise other people and esteem themselves more than others. God in their eyes is their slave or servant who has to serve them and help them to become great. That is a false God, an idol, their imagination, which doesn't exist, which is not real. Well, it is not that the real God humiliates us. He elevates us in reality already in this life. I can compare this with the following example. Let's say that I'm at home and I slipped on the stairs. I have fallen and down I went into basement. My arms broken, my legs broken, without mobile phone, no one is around and no one will be. But then neighbor comes around. He comes around maybe twice in a year. He knocks on the door. What will I say to him? If I'm proud, I will not want to admit that I have slipped, that this thing could happen to me. Do you know who I am? So I might be quiet or tell him to come another time and that I'm fine. Where am I? I'm not lying broken, helpless in the basement, that's for sure. I'm in the kitchen or in the first floor doing something very important. So he will not be able to help me. And I would like that you notice something here. I had to lie, didn't I? And if I'm not proud, I would say, "Hello, I'm here in the basement, come, I'm helpless." And in such a way I could receive grace and be saved. Grace could set me free. Majority of people who call themselves Christians don't understand that. They think they are just fine. They don't know what grace is. They haven't received grace, and because of that they cannot give it to others. They just pretend to be Christians. They are actors who are lying to themselves. And believe it or not, God is not the father of lies. Satan is. And what happens if I sleep on stairs and cannot help myself, nor do I want to receive any help from others? I will perish. Is it smart to be proud? You tell me, and above all, you tell yourself. Life of so-called Christians was never ever changed. They were never saved. They are still in the bands of lies and death. From time to time their acting is exposed, but then they justify themselves. Oh, that's nothing. It happened only one time. It happened only once in this week. One time per month. One time per year. I'm not like that, you know me. I'm a nice person. Well, some people are better actors and some are not so good actors. Some can cover up their nature, at least they think they can cover it up, for longer periods of time, and some for shorter periods of time. But their nature is never ever changed, and that nature is exposed from time to time. But they don't want to acknowledge that. They are fine, they say. Or they might say also, well, God understands. They say they believe in Jesus, but Jesus said that he cannot do anything without the Father. And I guess they are greater in their eyes than Jesus is, because they can do everything without Jesus and the Father. They exalt themselves above God. I don't know why they want to call themselves Christians. Any other religion would be more suitable for them. Satan promised our ancestors that they will be as gods. But such people are even more than that in their imagination. They are above Jesus, they are above God. Jesus says, I am the vine, ye are the branches. He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me ye can do nothing. And what so-called Christians say? Yes, we can, yes, we can, yes, we can. Think about that. Thinking of such a people is not reasonable. Why would they want to be Christians anyway? They should join another religion which is based on lies and proudness. They have plenty to choose from. Let me continue speaking about proudness. If you are not prepared to subordinate to any higher being, power, that's proudness, and that's stupid. Such people have a tremendous difficulties to learn anything because they don't accept any authority. I have spoken one time with such a person. It was a strange experience for me. I have always used the work of others. If some more intelligent person than I am studied something all his life, I would take some time to find out what were his conclusions about a certain topic. And if he had proven that my idea about something is wrong, and if I find that proof convincing, I accept that. But when speaking to a proud person, well, you cannot even speak to them because they don't listen. If you say that this person and that person with far superior intelligence, let's say an atheist, has shown that their idea is wrong, a proud person will say, what does he know? He's stupid. Yes, he is stupid. His intelligence was far more superior than ours is. He dedicated many years of his life to answer a particular question, but a person with an average intelligence who dedicated a minute or two to a particular question knows better? And I should believe that? Strange is that faith of proud people, strange and blind. Especially atheists are prone to that kind of faith, but other people also. It really doesn't matter how they call themselves. So are proud persons behaving smart or foolish? You tell me, or you tell yourself. And by the way, I have searched a dictionary and found out what synonyms for a fool are. Monkey, dupe, ass, and so on. Monkey. And we are back to monkey, evolution, and monk and key to unlock the Bible. I have mentioned evolution and monkey. What about monk? Monk represents religious people who are religious, at least on the outside, and you are trying to get explanation of the Bible from them? Is that smart? Let's take a look. What would you say about the people who call themselves Reverend, Monsignor, that is, my Lord? Are they proud or not? Christians revere only God, and their Lord is Jesus Christ. In which religion you would say to people, I am my Lord, which basically means I am my own Redeemer. That is a satanic faith. I am my own Lord. That is pure Satanism and not Christianity. And what about the title Master of Divinity? If I understand correctly, if you want to become a pastor in the United States, you have to be almost always Master of Divinity. Well, who is Master of Divinity? Isn't that Christ? What kind of spirit would like to be called Master of Divinity beside Christ? Only satanic spirit. We are masters of corruptness and wickedness, if anything. But if we would be honest, we would realize that wickedness and corruptness is our master. We are masters of nothing. And what about the title Holy Father, who, by the way, lives in eternal city? That is God and not a man. Christians have Holy Father in heavens, in eternal Zion. Their Father is not a man who would be holy and who would live in Rome. Think about that. So you see, if you think that this is proudness, you can conclude that God resists such kind of people. And because of that, they will not tell you a lot about the Bible, that's for sure. They don't have understanding of the Bible, they hate God more or less openly, and would like to be in His place. If you are such a person, or you call someone with those titles, and if you didn't realize how serious this is, that is one thing. But if you will continue to do that, even though you hopefully now know that it is not right, well, it is between you and God. If you will continue to do so, you have to quiet your conscience. That can be done to a certain extent, but what will you say to God? I don't have a clue, and I guess you also don't know. I do not call any man by such titles anymore, because that would go against my conscience and against God. But nevertheless, I value all humans, even if they think they are God, or if they call themselves by His titles. I'm not angry with them. It is their problem, not mine. My conscience is telling me to warn them and you. And what will they and you do? It is up to them, and up to you, and your conscience and God. But know this, such people study to some extent all their life the Bible. Well, in majority of cases they hate it. And if they would only read in the Bible this one simple sentence, God resisteth the proud, and understand it. For many of them Bible was and will stay closed book. If therefore they, or proud language experts, say to you that the Bible is a huge mess, corrupted, or that no one can understand it, and that we cannot know if God exists or not, I hope that now you have at least some doubts in their claims. They are proud, and God resisted the proud. Of course they cannot see anything in there. But in reality, Bible is very simple. Practically everyone can understand the message of the Bible if he has the key, and the key was always in the hands of church. Always. Now, church are believers and not unbelievers who are proud and who claim that Bible is corrupted. Don't forget that. Now, when you listen to someone about the Bible, you shouldn't believe everything what he's telling you. It is okay to have doubts, to question him. It is okay to ask questions if you don't know something, if something doesn't seem right to you. Actually, it is more than okay. It is needed if you don't want to be cheated. Only deceivers will tell you that those things are not okay, that you should have faith, but not in the Lord, but in them. That's what they say. If you trust the Lord, you will trust us. If you have doubts, you should get the right answer. And if you cannot get it from one person, pray with a humble heart to God to give you understanding and to give you answers. Remember, you are not in position to give orders to God. That would be a very, very proud thing to do. God, I demand that you give me an answer. That doesn't work. And if you will be humble, you will either receive understanding, or he will send you another person, or maybe you will hear a lecture or read something where your question will be answered. It is really incredible. Everything is written in the Bible, but it is covered up from us as long as we are proud. It was hidden also from me. Maybe you might ask, well, if I am proud, how do I become humble? Read and listen about the Bible. The whole Bible reveals to you who you really are. Sinner, lover of deceit, lies, death, hater of life, hater of truth, hater of love. Without God, we are only a dust. We are as a grass. Read Ecclesiastes. It is very harsh reading as long as we are proud. Read about Herod, who didn't want to give God the glory. He wanted to keep the glory for himself. And upon a set day, Herod, arrayed in royal apparel, sat upon his throne and made an oration unto them. And the people gave a shout, saying, It is the voice of a God, and not of a man. And immediately the angel of the Lord smote him, because he gave not God the glory. And he was eaten of worms, and gave up the ghost. And be honest, and don't lie to yourself. You know that many people are more intelligent than you are, but there exists even greater intelligence. If you want to know about it, listen and search. The greatest intelligence was revealed to us through the words which are written in the Holy Bible. So, I could go even deeper into the subject matter, but I guess this is enough for one lecture, because people don't hear so much about the Bible in 8 years of so-called Sunday school, or even at universities. I hope you will join me next time, when, if God willing, we will go a little bit deeper. Be well, till next time. Bye bye.